Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 99 of Walking with Jay. Today's date is the 21st of August, 2017. My name is Jeremy Vincent Henry Larson, and I'm here with my co-star, my sidekick. What would be a good one that I could call you? Like, what's a good nickname that Sean called Gus?
Lavender Goons.
I'm here with Lavender Goons. Why am I asking you that? This is actually Mariah Larson. You can call her Mo if you want, right?
Yep.
So, cool. Why am I asking you about Sean and Gus?
Because Psych the movie is coming out
When is that coming out anyway?
this December.
What are you most looking forward to about that, and then what are you least looking forward to about that?
I like how they're gonna have like all the original cast together,
Right.
instead of doing like a weird spin-off type of show that a lot of people do sometimes.
Right.
One thing I don't like is Lassie won't be in it very much.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with the Psych show, who is Lassie?
Detective Carlton Lassiter.
What's it? Yeah. Let's before we go too deep into who Lassie is, why don't we take people back to what Psych is, how you first became involved with the psychic detectives, and let's move from there.
Well, there's only one detective.
Oh, that's right.
Gus is a pharmaceutical
I
salesman.
stand corrected. Gus is a pharmaceutical salesman.
Yep.
What's the name of the car they drive?
Echo.
Oh,
The blueberry.
the blueberry.
And the cranberry in one episode.
Right.
And then the blueberry again.
So would you say that you have an extensive knowledge of the show Psych?
Depends what you mean by extensive.
Well, I don't have the dictionary handy, but I think I mean like a broad and deep understanding of maybe the thematic elements of Psych.
I would say so, maybe. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, tell us what Psych is about then.
Psych is about this one guy, Sean Spencer, who's pretending to be a psychic.
What? Okay. He's pretending. Okay, I'm sorry. Why is he pretending to be a psychic?
Because in the first episode, it shows him like
In the pilot.
in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
It shows him like correctly getting like the culprit or whatever, the murderer,
Right.
whatever episode it was. And they all thought like he was part of it, and he was just like, no, but I'm a psychic.
So so they had arrested him. No, they didn't arrest him, but they brought him in for questioning, right?
Yeah.
Because
They thought he was part.
he was calling in a tip, right? Based
Yeah.
on something that he had seen on TV
Yeah.
because he was so observant.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so why was he so observant? Who does he have to thank for that?
His father,
Played
Detective
by?
Henry Spencer, Corbin Burnson.
And how does he have him to thank for that?
Henry used to be like a really good detective
Right.
for the SBPD,
SB meaning?
Santa Barbara Police
Alright.
Department.
Right.
So, yeah, he taught Sean from a very young age like a bunch of stuff about cops because he wanted Sean to be a cop.
And so what were some of the exercises he'd do like in the diner and stuff like that?
He would make Sean close his eyes and count how many hats were in the room. He would have to sensory deprivation.
Do sensory deprivation?
Yeah. So like he wouldn't be able to see, but he could only hear.
Uh-huh.
And he would have to correctly place the sounds, like as to what they were.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
You know what's funny? I just talked to a friend today, and she had talked about how her dad when she was driving, she became a very good defensive driver because he would put something up over the rear view mirror and say, well, okay, what car did you see behind you? What's, you know?
That's dangerous.
It was kind of a Sean Spencer-ish is what I was thinking.
Sean Spencerism.
Well, yeah. Or Henry Spencer.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just making some connections to my real life there.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a good connection.
Yeah. But I kind of took you off track a little bit, didn't I?
No.
All right, so Sean goes in. It might be some spoilers here, right?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
okay. Spoiler
the show's
alert.
Over 11. Show's like 11 years old or 12.
If they haven't seen the pilot episode yet, maybe they're just not cool enough to. Now, do you believe people aren't cool if they haven't watched Psych?
No.
They just out of the loop, maybe, or?
Yeah. I just didn't get into it that much.
All right. So, but you did at some point.
Yes.
I think I saw it first, right?
I don't know.
How did that happen that you got into it?
I just remember like seeing the season 2 discs on Mom's side of the bed.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to watch those first, just so we make sure they're appropriate."
Oh.
I was like, "Okay." But I saw them and I was like, "How do you like?" My first thought was, "How do you pronounce that?"
Psych.
Psych.
How old were you then?
I don't remember.
Like.
It was a few years ago. I don't remember for sure, but...
You're like me with remembering age and numbers and dates and stuff like that a little bit, huh?
Yep.
Well...
I'm so good at all
Were
of
you
it.
in school at the time?
Probably.
It was a lot of years ago.
Yes. A long time ago.
Anyway, you used to watch that show all of the dang time, I remember. Like, how many times would you say you've watched? Well, my guest last night, Adam Mast, he said that the movies became kind of a babysitter for him when he was a kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Was it kind of like that for you with Psych?
Not really. Huh? Not really, no. Usually just watched it when I was bored, or that's basically it, really.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about Psych?
No.
You'd prefer to talk about something else? Have we kind of saturated the Psych element of this show? Favorite episode? Can we ask that?
I don't know. That's a hard one. I like a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't have like one specific favorite. I think one of my favorites is the roller derby episode.
Where Juliet, played by Maggie Lawson,
goes undercover in a roller derby rink. And yeah.
And why do you like that episode?
I don't know. It's just like you get to see a different side to Juliet. Than like how she's portrayed as like a cop and everything.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I think another one of my favorite episodes is An Evening with Mr. Yang.
And what's that? Oh, that's like didn't they like weave that through several seasons, like a continuing?
Yeah, it started in season 3 and it ended in season 6.
Now, wasn't that Ali Sheedy who played Yin?
I have no idea. I don't know.
But it was Yin and Yang, right?
Yeah, Mr. Yang. Wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I brain bust you on that one, Ali Sheedy?
Kind of. It sounds familiar. Yes, actually. She's the one with the black hair, right?
Right.
Yeah. She was Mr. Yang.
Not Mr. Yang.
Yeah.
She was Yin, right?
An Evening with Mr. Yang.
Oh, I've got it all
I
wrong.
think.
Later, no, but
I'm pretty sure.
It was a
Yeah.
guy. Mr. Yang's a guy, isn't it?
No,
Her dad?
no, that's Yin.
He's Yin?
I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I have brain
been
busted the
since,
Psych
like,
lady.
2014 or 2015, so 2014.
Were you glad they wrapped up the show when they did?
Yeah,
Because?
it was getting a little long, and everyone was getting older, and everybody was moving on.
Are you stoked about the movie though?
Yes, very much so.
And Lassiter's the police chief. No, he's not the chief. That's
Head
Chief Vic.
detective.
He's the head detective, and he doesn't really care for Sean Spencer, does he?
No, not on the outside.
But on the inside. And who plays Lassiter?
Timothy Munson.
And how come he's not in the movie? Well, he's gonna be a little bit, I guess. But
He had a stroke.
yeah, sad, huh?
Yeah. That made me sad to hear.
Anyway, what else do you want to talk? Hey, here's a great thing. You went back to school. Let's talk about education, Mariah.
It has been the longest week of my life.
Has it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out front because it's dark already back here.
Mama.
It's been the longest week of your entire life, even kindergarten, the first week of kindergarten.
Kindergarten was fun.
Junior year, not so much.
No,
How come?
it's boring.
Oh no.
And there's a lot of work.
Are you
So,
allergic to work?
Yep. Without a doubt.
Me too. But you like going on the show with me, right?
Yeah. I've grown accustomed to it.
I don't think that I wouldn't say that I've learned too much about you by going on the walk that you haven't told me before.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you would like the viewers to know about Mariah Alta Larson?
I don't know. I don't really have a life, so
You don't have a life.
there's not really anything to tell.
Typical junior high school, teenage.
I don't really have much of a story, so
See, here's the thing. There's what, 7 billion people in the world?
yeah.
Everybody has a story. Sometimes the story, here's what I try to look at for people when I'm trying to help them tell their story, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I do, right? As a peer support specialist, I try to help people tell their story. So, you take a look at what life was like when things were going just normal every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
What life was like when things were just normal, right? It's called the status quo or whatever.
Yep.
So, and then usually you want to talk about when things got hard in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of what drama is, right? It's like when things get difficult and then you have to overcome that difficulty, right? Do you have any of those stories, like when things got difficult in your life?
Not really, no.
Your life has just been easy street the whole time?
Not the whole time. Like, I had to deal with Grandma dying on me.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh boy. I know my mom has like a different perspective on her because she grew up with her.
Uh-huh.
But to me, like to her grandkids, she was like the sweetest lady in the world.
Right.
One of them.
Right.
And
Well,
so,
she was special too because she was actually in the room when you were born. Did you know that?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you guys had a really close bond, didn't you, you and Grandma?
Yep.
Yeah. And so tell me what you remember from that time of the difficulty when you lost her and stuff.
I don't know. I was just really sad. Like, I remember, I think it was either Grandma Hansen or Grandma Reedhead. Like, Mom just came into my room when she woke me up and she's like, oh, hey, just as an FYI, you know, like.
She said it like that?
Well, no. I'm just meaning, like,
Right. It was so nonchalant or whatever.
Yeah. So I remember I was sad that morning.
Uh-huh.
I was in 3rd grade. I remember we were gonna go swimming that day at school.
Uh-huh. And did you end up going?
Yeah. There was no way I was gonna miss out on a free swimming day at the pool. Even though someone in my family had just died. That sounds really insensitive.
That sounds really insensitive. But I mean, you're 3rd grade. I mean, what do you do? What do you do when you're in 3rd grade and you suffer a loss like that? How did you move on?
I don't know. As I grew up, it kind of disappeared. Not really like disappeared, but like, what is the word?
Like reduced, like in
Yeah.
intensity or whatever, like the
Yeah.
sadness and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you remember about her funeral?
It was cold.
Uh-huh.
It was really cold. I remember I was wearing like a red plaid dress.
Yeah.
I
And
remember
black, right? So it was red and yeah.
red and black. I remember Mrs. Nelson took me and Bethany out to go get clothes for the funeral.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
it was-
we were so poor at the time we couldn't even afford clothes for all of our kids for a funeral, huh? So it was like one of your mom's friends
Mhm.
took you two out.
Yeah.
And what were you thinking like during that time?
I honestly don't even remember.
But you remember going with her?
Yeah. And I remember going to her house after, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So,
I think I remember that too.
and my glasses were all fogged up because I had just gotten in from the cold.
Uh-huh.
And then like to step into the heat, it was like, whoom.
We lived in St. George at the time, and the funeral was up in Cedar, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember anything about that day? Do you remember the balloons?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not certain, but.
So we like everybody wrote messages to Grandma.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
What do you remember?
I just remember everybody getting together and writing messages. I remember being confused because I didn't know where she was laid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, how far is this thing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That was a tough time in your young life, huh? At 3rd grade, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we miss her, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's basically the arc of the story. Is like when you lose something, and how do you come back after losing things in life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of that is just time heals the wounds, is what it seems what you're saying. It's like
Mm-hmm.
as time goes by, it just kind of diminishes, right?
It's been 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yep.
So, well, cool. I know your mom will be happy to know that you were remembering her mom on the episode, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have talked about Psych all day long, you
We
know,
could've.
and we did. We gave them proper respect and proper, acknowledgement for their role in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, we got about 1 minute, Mariah. Let's take a look at where Mariah is going from here again,
Oh,
real
boy.
quickly. Just real quickly, what would you like to accomplish this year, your junior year in high school?
Get straight A's.
Is that what you're working on?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't know. It makes me happy. It makes me satisfied. Like, if I'm gonna put work into it, I might as well get good grades out of it. So.
Right, if you got to be there anyway, huh?
Exactly.
Very cool. So what's your strategy for making sure you get straight A's?
Get all my work turned in on time.
That's a big part of it, huh?
Yeah.
You're also big on attendance, I believe, too, aren't you? Like you're one of my
Yeah.
kids who's like, make sure that you get to
Yeah.
that you show up.
Even if I'm sick, like, I'll tell myself, I'm not that sick, I go to school.
Right.
Like, if I'm not nauseating or like Like, even probably if I had a fever,
Right.
if I was left to myself, I would probably go to school because I'm just like, whatever, I don't care.
We're gonna turn just around here, and we're about ready to wrap it up. Where are you going? Where are you going? Uh-oh, Skycam. Yeah, so you're an attendance junkie, aren't you? You gotta show up, because that's if I had any...
Well, the only reason if I don't show up, it's if I have a reason.
Right.
You know, like, I'm gonna be going up to Comic-Con here pretty soon.
It's another thing we could have talked about next episode.
Have to get me on the show.
Yeah. I'm always glad to have you on the show. Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.
You're beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome, and I love you.
I love you too.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. It's always great hanging out with you. What do you want them to do? Stay cool. Stay cool. We'll talk to you soon, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.